presentations on collections management solutions frameworks for help in our evaluation over the coming months. Today's is on Arctos, and I'm going to turn it over to Carla to do the introductions.
Okay, thanks everybody for coming. I may introduce Dusty, who's the main Arctos programmer, who's down from Alaska, and Gordon, who was at Alaska, now is at University of New Mexico. This is going to be kind of a two-part show. I'm going to go through some general slides about Arctos, and then they're going to actually demo it. We did a handout, since most of you probably saw the Specify demo on Tuesday. It's fresh in everybody's mind. We thought it'd be useful to do a comparison of the two systems. And so this is something that we don't necessarily, we're not going to go over, although if there are questions about it later, we can certainly talk about them. Okay. Just for it situated here. Okay, so Arctos is what we consider a multi-institution, multi-collection museum database. The URL here is how you actually get to the database itself. And then this URL gets you to information about the project, the code, the issues list, and documentation and so on. Arctos currently contains 34 collections of specimens as well as observational data, totaling about 1.3 million records. That's in one instance of Arctos in Alaska, and I'll get to that in a minute. But there's 4 major repositories currently using the Arctos database: MBZ here at Berkeley, University of Alaska Museum of the North, the Museum of Southwestern Biology at the University of New Mexico, and then the Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard. Arctos is a partnership. We partner with a lot of other organizations. A major partnership is with the Texas Advanced Computing Center, which is a member of the TerraGrid network, which is the national network of 11 supercomputing facilities, sponsored by NSF's Office of Cyber Infrastructure. So I thought it'd be interesting to just go through a brief history of how we got to where we're at, and where it all started. So it started about 15 years ago when MBZ hired Stan Bloom to develop a relational data model for us, following an exercise of modeling by the Association of Systematics Collections. And at that time, we were pretty much being forced to move into a new database system. The system that we were in was no longer being supported by the campus. So we developed this relational data model, and then in 1997, we hired John Wieczorek to implement the model using Sybase and Versata. And at that time, that was just a desktop application. And it was only a partial implementation of the data model. So, for example, we couldn't do loans, or some pretty major features were missing from that implementation. Somewhere between 1998 and 2000, the University of Alaska brought John up there to help them migrate their mammal data to Oracle and get them set up using Versata. And in 2002, they hired Dusty, who quickly decided that Versata was not a good application to use, and replaced Versata with Cold Fusion and implemented the full data model. So that was the first web-based instance of the full data model, which is what we call Arctos now. In 2003, the Museum of Southwestern Biology joined Arctos at the University of Alaska Museum. So that became the first multi-hosting instance of Arctos. And between 2005 and 2007, the MBZ and Museum of Comparative Zoology implemented separate instances of Arctos. So there was an instance of Arctos in Alaska with UAM and MSB, an instance of Arctos here with MBZ, and an instance of Arctos at Harvard. And at MBZ, we first tried implementing Arctos with Postgres and then moved to Oracle. And then just a couple months ago, in 2009, in February, we actually moved the hosting of our data to Alaska into a new virtual private database